If you have ever known and loved someone who was in jail or in prison, you know the feelings we're about to discuss. There is a new monthly support group being formed in our area here for families and friends of those who are incarcerated. Tim Granet from Project Now is here, along with Erin Hammond, who's a member, or going to be a member of this new support group. Erin, I'm so glad you're here today. And Tim, you're a deacon?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So let's dive into this. I want to start with you, Tim. There's no other support group in the Quad Cities now for loved ones of those who are incarcerated.
That's correct.
And the need, you saw the need how?
Well, we are having a adult formation program at St. Pius Church in Rock Island on discrimination and prejudice in the United States, both the history and current situation with that. And we were talking about all aspects of discrimination, and the kind of the final area what we touched upon was incarceration or in prisons. And so we invited Restored Justice Illinois from Chicago to come down and talk to us about that, because they're very involved in all the aspects of incarceration and the penal system in Illinois. And so in the course of that presentation, one of the ladies that is a member of that organization is also a mother of an incarcerated son.
Is that you, Erin?
That is not me.
That is not you, but it sounds like your story.
Similar story,
yes.
And so she was talking about that not only, is it difficult for the person who's incarcerated, but it's very difficult for the family too, because just even feelings that arise from, maybe embarrassment or guilt or sadness or all kinds of things can affect them. And then as the families were looking for, as she was looking for, she said she had a very large friend and support group from her church and other organizations, and when they found out that her son was incarcerated, she found that they weren't there for her anymore.
Oh my. And nobody can understand probably except somebody else in this situation. Mm-hmm. So, fast forward to the fact that Saturday you're going to have your first meeting in Rock Island.
Yes.
Of this group called, didn't you say the name of it yet? The One by One Foundation.
Yes.
So, and Erin, you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there, yes.
Kind of a founding member, I guess we can call this. We just have the info here up on screen for you right now. So, Erin, I really appreciate your transparency and your bravery in talking about this. Your son, your only child, has been in prison for 4 years.
Yes.
And it's been, I know you've spoken openly about it, so tell us, what is the most overwhelming emotion of that?
Well, there's a lot. I guess the main thing is that no one, I don't think, could have ever prepared me for what I was going to go through. It's such a sad, grieving, a loss, and it's such a shameful grieving process that I became very isolated and embarrassed and didn't feel comfortable sharing that with others. So that was one very huge part of it, grieving the loss of my son. Another really big part of it is that there's no handbook or orientation. There's no contact person to tell you what happens next, where he will go, what will happen. So you really figure it out along the way. And
you wrote out a testimony. I'm going to grab it right here. You wrote some very eloquent things about this. The biggest thing is, my child is right there, for me still a little boy, but out of my reach.
Yes. I wrote that because that was, along with no one telling you what's going to happen, nobody sets you up for that first visit in prison. And it was gut-wrenching. It was probably the worst day of my life so far. They told me where to sit, and I couldn't touch him. I had to sit a certain distance across from him, and there sat that little boy that I couldn't touch, hug, and it's a devastating experience.
Well, if you got together with other mothers I'm sure in some cases spouses of people who are in jail, this is something that you can share together, and there is a peace sometimes in unity right? And that's what they think this is mainly about, Tim?
I
You're
do.
not solving anything, really.
Right. But we're providing a space for these individuals who are really suffering to be able to suffer publicly and to own their emotions, not feel like they have to hide them, but they're legitimate emotions that all of us feel in one way or another in our lives. And to let them know that they're safe, they're accepted, they can share their stories in a non-judgmental environment and know that they're not alone.
And carrying one another's burdens.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's what that's about. Are you looking forward to this, Erin, this opportunity?
Yes, very much so.
Well, it's called One by One, and it's the Incarcerated Family and Friends Support Group, which is just launching. And this is mainly word of mouth. I mean, so if you're watching this right now, you're thinking, I know somebody who could use this. And you don't have to be a family member. You could just be somebody. You could be a neighbor of somebody you know. Right?
Right.
If you care or you know someone who's behind bars right now, you might be able to share in a very special way that could change your own life or the life of others. It's coming up on Saturday at the location. Tell me again, Tim.
It's at St. Pius Catholic Church in Rock Island in McCarthy Hall, and that's the hall. It's attached right to the church. You just come in through the handicapped entrance. And
at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., 9 to 11, 2 quick hours, and I bet it will go fast. And who knows what could launch from here for all of you. Right. Erin, all I can do is thank you and wish you the very best. God bless you and your son.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.